Hillary, thank you so much for joining me. I'm super excited to have this quick chat.
Yeah, super excited, Solomon. It's always good to chat with you.
I don't know how long it's been, but I've seen you come into my world and just take off. And I was just like, wow, so having this few minutes together, I think it'll help everyone who's watching learn a little bit about what you did and how you take an action. So first of all, I want to talk about RankBoost Media. The name, itself kind of implies SEO. Was that the idea? Where'd you get the name from?
It took me a while doing an agency, transitioning into a new business was something I wanted to do. And, I kind of followed you for a little while and, finally decided, all right, it's time to bite the bullet, go all in, because I am kind of an all in kind of girl. And yes, as you know, I was like kind of trying to get situated, which I think everybody does. You have a million ideas in your head and it does feel overwhelming. But, when I sat down and started brainstorming, it kind of came to me. And of course, looking around, nobody was using that name, which is perfect, because what we want to do is help local businesses boost their rankings, right? That's ultimately what we want to do across the board. So yeah, it just kind of, it worked and started from there, as well.
It clicked.
Yeah, it clicked, right?
Another thing is most agencies get lost in the weeds about which niche, which industry, who do I want to provide service to? I have tracked 5,000 industries. There's so many different ones. And that was relatively easier for you than most people struggle with. Could you tell how you went about that?
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily easy, because once again, your brain goes in so many directions. And of course, you second guess every decision. And I think really, as you know, from, the discussions that we've had, it took me quite a bit to decide. I test it. I think you just have to test and find out, if you have an industry that you're passionate about, I think that's important too. Mine was very general. I want to find a great niche and help a small business. I want to help them grow. So I think we're still testing, right? We're still testing a few, but we've nailed down, a few that we really think that we can help just based on testing. So we've kind of changed quite a few times, but it all works because now we actually know who our ideal type of client is, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Obviously it's local, and then you need to figure out the ones that you're likely to get on a call and close, right?
Yes,
for you personally.
That's important too. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other piece is kind of, I guess the name gives it away. Your offer. What is that offer, or as close to it? Like how did you figure that out? Or, how many days of no sleep?
Yeah, well, of course, in terms of marketing, as it has evolved over, I've been in, I did marketing for my other business. So, I mean, just knowing how marketing has evolved, there's ads, there's website SEO, there's ads on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all these different platforms. There's also a thing called local SEO, and there's many various ways to do that as well. So tying back to being that we want to help small businesses, we really have focused in on that local SEO as being the most impactful for them. Yeah, we do offer other services, to support that or to support them, but that's really our main.
It's interesting because when we rolled out that maps feature, you were like our #1 user and you found every bug.
Well, it's a great tool. I love that tool. It's so beneficial in helping us, for sure.
All I knew is that you ran the most audits of anyone that we knew. So
I didn't know that.
No, I was kidding. I'm just saying, we knew if that was broken, Hillary would let us know. We didn't have to worry about it, right? So that's awesome.
I got my sales team. They need their report. So yeah, absolutely.
And that's why we built it. We actually, one of my vision is to help as many organizations, reach the $1 million mark trying to sell like a simple product. But there's how many millions of small businesses? No one human being or one agency can go capture them all.
We reach out to people all across the country, but just in even a 5-mile radius, the amount of different small businesses here, are endless, that you can help.
Absolutely. Google should have a button that says contact a local agency and then just like route to the leads. They're making it harder for us.
Yeah.
So the another thing, that you did, and I think it has something to do with your experience scaling other businesses, that you went straight to starting to hire salespeople, which is very different from most agency owners, because they're sort of like, oh, I want to delve in a little bit, I want to, and I'm okay with that model, I'm not opposed to that, but you were like, no, I'm going to go. Now you have sales managers. Like, kind of fill us in on how that happened, so people that are watching here can see kind of how you did that.
I've had other businesses, so
Right.
just from my experience in learning those lessons 15 years ago, right, is I could start, for me, and it does, everybody's different, but for me, I could sit here, make the phone calls, do all the things, do all the work, but it was going to take me that much longer, right? I have goals, and I have the ability to make a little bit of the investment in that. So I found it important to invest in that, right? And to start to grow that, because if I don't have sales, my company's not growing, right? So
Yeah.
if I could delegate, I'm a huge believer in, it's not always easy to do, but I'm a huge believer in delegating. I know sometimes we fear giving up certain tasks, but we can zoom out and oversee those tasks, once we know what's going on. Obviously that helps too, is to, get your hands dirty and find out what's broken so you can fix it. But then once you really know what you want, you can find the people that can help you do that.
Absolutely. And you hired how many salespeople? Tell us a little bit more about the structure. And I love
Well,
how you don't want to even take a sales call, which is amazing.
yeah, I have no problem taking sales calls, but I just realized that I can duplicate more if I can master the ship, basically, and oversee things of what's going on, and I can fill in the blanks as needed. I come from a background of working in restaurants too, managing restaurants. So that, I think that gave me, it's just like you have to, there's a lot of working parts. So
Yes.
I felt like, yes, I'm good at sales, but in terms of cold calling, it's not really something that I love doing either. And I felt like it was a little draining for me. So more important to, it was a struggle to find, the right people as well. So that takes time. So we got a good solid team. I have a great sales manager right now. And, our hiring process just keeps getting better and better. So we are finding better people now as well.
And you're cold calling, doing any kind of prospecting to get them on the door, and then show them a proposal, and then they sign up.
Yeah, we've gotten a few referrals already from cold people that started out as cold leads. So that's great. So we're doing something. All right.
Well, you're doing what we need to do, right? Like, that's it.
Yeah.
You're just
got to keep duplicating it and keep getting better as always.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Huge kudos on hiring a team. Most of the time agencies don't do that, and I did that very early too. That was an accident, but you did it very purposely. You're like, I'm gonna go hire people. Even though SEO, digital marketing inside out, you weren't like trying to save money. Kudos on that. I was gonna ask you, you made it look so easy. I'm sure underlying there was some challenges. What is one of those challenges, if you don't mind sharing? Maybe the biggest one, you're just like, man, this one was a harder one.
Well, I think it is like, you have an offer, right? But in terms of creating sales, you really have to hone that offer, especially when you're cold calling. It has to be able to speak to someone, and that takes testing in itself. We didn't start calling on day one and get sales on day one, right? So that process took time, to get that interest on the phone, because as in cold calling, you only have a matter of seconds, right, to grab that attention and hopefully secure a great meeting that they will show up to. So that process has taken time. I don't regret any of that process, because it's actually refined us to have something right now that's like, I think really within the past few weeks, we've really nailed that. So now it's time to, hopefully we'll start increasing.
Figuring out how to get that first 30 seconds to be the most effective 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And testing and refining and optimizing it. Yep. Can only be done when you do it. You can't teach a kid how to ride a bicycle at a seminar.
Well, you got to get your reps in, right? That's repetition, and always constantly analyzing of what the progress is, and if something's not working, fix it before fix it, instead, so you don't waste more time. It's like you're going to need time to refine but as long as you're continuously just like your ads, you have to continuously optimize those as well, right? So it's a process.
How many hours do you put in a day, Hillary?
Well, since we're, we do agency time, like 9
Yeah.
to, 6 maybe at night.
I do 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. So it's kind of never ending. I was going to ask you, what is one piece of advice would you give it to others that are in your boat? Man, we met not too long ago. You came out of the gate, just started to execute. And that was probably the best thing I could just say is like, there was not one day where you weren't just like on it. You would tell me like, I'm trusting this company, I'm trying this tool.
I think I came to you, it did take me a few months of deciding, okay, am I gonna go, I was doing some freelance ads work with people, and I just hadn't fully, it was something I kept rolling in my brain, and probably seeing some of your videos convincing me that when I came to you, I was ready. It's like, okay, there's no messing around. I'm kind of an all in kind of a girl. So when I commit to something, I'm going to,
So what is one piece of advice would you give anyone that's listening?
I would say the biggest piece of advice, if this is something that, if it is something that you truly are passionate about doing, right, that just know that every day, it's not a failure. I'm a huge believer in every failure helps you get to success, right? There is no, I don't see failure as a negative thing. So it's like, just like, I like to get uncomfortable because that's how I grow. So embrace that instead of because we all have the monkey brain that can, sway us on a day-to-day basis, even me, but you usually have to tell that monkey brain to shut up and keep going, and remember to look back. And even our conversation the other day, you mentioned some things, and I appreciated that, because I do tend to just I'm so laser focused that I don't take time to celebrate the journey, because I'm still trying to get to that place. So I don't always celebrate it as much as I can for myself. But and I appreciate that. So
you're made for more. So you know that, so you're going towards it, but then you don't even give yourself any credit for how far you've come in the last 3, 4, 5 months.
Yeah, super critical person I am of myself. So I'm tough on myself, but it's okay. It keeps me on my toes. I'm a tough boss. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. I love it. And I like it. I mean, that's what we need. Well, thank you, Hillary, for hanging out with me for a little bit. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.